Greetings everyone, it's like T2. I was going to do a barbecue today. I was going to grill out. I got these two T-bone steaks, like half price, and I was going to set me up a little grill thing in the backyard, but then it's kind of rainy today. Maybe I'll do it this evening I'm probably going to go to bed soon. It'll probably be dark, or it's starting to get dark by the time I wake up. So I don't know. I need to do a live stream too. I got a lot to talk about. I got this new coworker. He's from Kurdistan. He's got all kinds of cool stories he's telling me and stuff. There's all kinds of trans news going on. There's like some of the gays are against the trans now. There's like all these wildfires in Canada and the smoke's coming out into America. We got aliens landing in Nevada. People are seeing spaceships and stuff, and the government's whistleblowers are coming out saying, yeah, aliens are real. Shit's popping off. It's going crazy out there. But in the meantime, I'm just going to sit back and read my books, and today I'm here to talk to you about Dolores Claiborne, which I read in the last 2 days, because this is a real fast one. I actually wanted to start the barbecue video and then like get the coals lit and be like, actually, I'm here to talk to you about this book. Just like sneak it in on you. Because, fuck you guys not watching my book reviews. You only want to see T2 content if it has like a different title. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's not the most exciting thing in the world. But, like one day I may want to look back on these videos and like, I'll see, what did I think about this book? Then I can just look it up and I can see what I thought about it. And then I won't have to like reread it because then I can just remind myself. Anyway, this one, I give it 3 out of 5, but it was actually pretty good. It's not bad. It's supposed to be like similar to Gerald's Game, but I thought it was more similar to Misery. Dolores Claiborne, I couldn't tell if she was like supposed to be. I kept imagining her as the actress that played the one in Misery, because she's like a housemaid. But if you're a housemaid, you're probably in pretty decent shape because it's a lot of work. So she might have just been like white trash, like a good-looking woman. I don't know. But, yeah, it's like, it starts out, she's working with this woman, Vera Donovan. She's like a millionaire. She doesn't know how rich she is, she just knows she's rich. And the whole book, there's no chapters. No chapters to stop you in this book. It just keeps going. It's all one long story. Nobody says a word. I mean, there's dialogue in it, but it's all Dolores Claiborne is talking to the cops, telling them the story because she's being accused of murder, and she's just telling them what happened. And since she doesn't start at the beginning of the murder with Vera Donovan. She goes back to an earlier murder that she was accused of her husband, because she lives on this little island and everybody thought she killed her husband, and she goes back and tells the story of how her husband was pretty much trying to have sex with his own daughter, and he pretty much did everything but actually having sex with her. Probably had her suck his dick, molesting her, and all kinds of stuff like that. So, at the same time, oh yeah, the first part actually is the funny part, because it's talking about her working for Vera Donovan, and then Vera Donovan like tells her like, maybe your husband could have an accident. But like, Vera Donovan's, I guess the earlier part she's kind of a normal person, and then in her later years she becomes an older woman and she gets kind of senile. And she's working for her, and she's upstairs, like an invalid in bed, and she has to like give her a bedpan to like piss and shit in. And she's got these two helpers that kind of come on Thursdays, because she talks about like when they put the bedpan in there, usually there'll be a little bit of piss. Sometimes like on Wednesdays I'll get a clinker, and that's like a turd, right? But then she says sometimes there won't be a clinker on Wednesdays, and like she's holding it in. She's saving it up in her little shit bank to like fuck me up on Thursdays. and like she'll like purposefully tell me that she doesn't have to do anything, and then I'll leave, and then she'll start hearing her going and she runs in there, and the woman is like shit everywhere, threw shit on the curtains, just made a big shit mess everywhere. So then like she gets her friends, so like she knows that she can start doing that, because she says like once she get her motor running she can't stop shitting. So then I know if I trick her, I'll tell her I've got to vacuum the floor, and then when I'm gone, she'll start shitting. I'll run up there and put the bedpan under her. But then she got wise to it, and I had to like sneak one more on her and like catch up to her or whatever. So I had my friends. Like, she figured out if I'm running the vacuum cleaner, it just makes one sound, like a rrrr. But if you're actually vacuuming, you know it's like a rrrr, rrrr, like it makes two sounds. So she has her friends do the vacuuming, and then she runs up the stairs. And she caught her. It's supposed to be so embarrassing. Like, you catch somebody trying to, like, shit her pants. Be like, you're not supposed to be in here. What are you doing to me? What are you doing? You're trying to shit everywhere. It's so weird, dude. But, like, yeah, that's the first part of the book. But then, yeah, that's just explaining, like, how hard she was to work for and how, like, she had to always put her sheets up on the clothesline and use 6 clothespins instead of 4. And in the wintertime, her hands would get all icy and cold, and her back hurts and her knees hurt, and she got arthritis from all this working for this woman all this time. It's so horrible. And then her husband starts trying to molest her daughter, and her other son, her youngest son, tries to act like the father, who's like a big lazy drunk, and he's a racist and hates all these people. He hates like Democrats, and he hates people. He's just an asshole, right? He likes getting drunk, gambling, drinking, hating like people, and so he's just awful. Middle son is actually a good guy. Anyway, so yeah, so she ends up killing her husband, or she like tricks him into falling into a well, and he like survives it, and then she like smashes his head in with a rock, makes it fall back in because he's trying to escape. So she had to like get past the cops with that. But then when nobody really believed her, because it was kind of suspicious that nobody would hear him screaming and stuff. It was the day of the eclipse, though, so everybody had their boats, like honking horns and yelling about the eclipse. So that was supposed to have been like how she didn't hear him or whatever. But then, like with Vera Donovan, she kept seeing things too. She gets seen now. She sees like wires coming out of the walls and dust bunnies with faces and fangs and stuff like that. Didn't really make a lot of sense. Kind of remind me of Langoliers a little bit, these dust bunnies. I don't know. It's Stephen King. So then she ends up freaking out and like getting into a wheelchair and like falling off the top of the stairs, even though she's not even supposed to be able to walk or anything. So that she was that scared. So then she's telling the police this and stuff. And then I guess she ended up convincing the police. And then she finds out that Vera Donovan left her fortune of $30 million. But at the same time, Vera Donovan was talking about, like, you know, when we have this eclipse, like I invited my kids, they're supposed to be coming up here, and you always got to make sure the shelves are stocked with Quaker oats, because that's what her kids like to eat and stuff. And then at one point she says she was estranged from her kids because they wouldn't like come visit her and stuff. Turns out her kids died like 30 years before, and she just couldn't deal with it. So her memory of her kids was kind of kept alive by her telling Dolores Claiborne about her kids, I guess. Yeah, that's interesting. So it's kind of like two stories, like two halves of a story. Killing of her husband and then Vera Donovan herself dying. I guess most of it was about her husband, though. But yeah, just like non-stop ramblings. And then there's a lot of like grammar and stuff. It's not really a thing because it's just her talking. So like she talks with a real poor white trash redneck voice. So she might say "yeah" instead of "yeah," or she just says "me and them's." It just say the letter "n" instead of "and." So it's like a lot of contraction, like leaving shit out and just like writing it just like it sounds. Bald fella, here it says, and so probably PROB''ly. It's like a lot of words like that. So it's like you can read it fast though because of that, because it's almost like written in shorthand. Yeah, I read like 185 or 200 pages or something on the first day. And maybe 220. I read like a lot in the first day. I had hardly any left tonight. But then I got to talk with this Kurdistani guy. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on.